debate too. And the story that took the nation by storm, ladies and gentlemen, was the Air India urination row. Now, in the latest, Delhi's Patiala House Court has dismissed the bail petition filed by accused Shankar Mishra. He was arrested by the Delhi police on the 6th of January from Bangalore for allegedly urinating on a co-passenger on board an Air India New York Delhi flight in November last year. Remember, this incident took place weeks back. Now, as per the allegations, the accused were voluntarily drunk and had consumed alcohol during the flight. The fact has not been denied by the applicant Shankar Mishra himself. Now, during the detailed arguments, Advocate Manu Sharma, representing the accused, submitted a bail application stating that Mishra couldn't control his drink, but the unzipping was not sexual in nature and he is not a flight risk. But this is what the court said after denying the bail plea. Now, the court has said that the accused failed to join the probe even after the notice. The conduct of the accused doesn't inspire confidence. The accused tried to contact the victim, and they can't rule out the possibility of witness tampering. Other witnesses are yet to be interrogated while the investigation is at a very initial stage. So is this incident now a case beyond the breach of protocol because the victim alleges that she was threatened by the accused family? Are we looking at a bigger case now beyond the shocking incident which happened aboard that flight? Right. I'm joined by Ananya Bhatnagar on the broadcast to get the latest when it comes to the legal dynamics of this case. Ananya, this observation of the court that they can't rule out the possibility of witness tampering in this case. How is this likely to change the dynamics of this entire case?
Well, it has already changed the dynamics of this whole case because the bail has been denied to Shankar Mishra in this particular case, and the court on the prima facie believes that his acts were actually something that could cause outraging of the modesty of a woman. In fact, the court went on to say that his act of relieving himself on a woman and a co-passenger was disgusting, and in fact, it has shaken the public conscience, and that's the reason why it actually amounts to outraging the modesty of a woman. Secondly, the court says that he has not joined the investigation himself, but only after he did not even respond to the Section 41A notices, and even after non-bailable warrants were issued, he was then arrested from Bengaluru, is what the court notes, and that's the reason why the court says that he is a flight risk. In fact, court also mentioned that he can tamper with the witnesses and the complainant in this case because it was alleged by the counsel for the accused person, by the counsel for the complainant in this particular case, that Shankar Mishra tried to contact the witness into this particular case, and also, in fact, the complainant in this particular case, and his father messaged the complainant saying that the karma will hit them back, and that's the reason why it is kind of an influence that is being drawn on the complainant, and that's what the prosecution fears, that in case he actually can influence the complainant and the witnesses in this case. The investigation is at a nascent stage at this point of time, and that's the reason why a bail has to be denied to Shankar Mishra in this particular case. A big blow coming into the legal team of Shankar Mishra, and definitely a big win coming in for the Delhi police in this particular case. However, in fact, the Delhi police has told the court that 3 of the crew members and certain co-passengers are yet to be examined in this particular case, and that's the reason why a bail cannot be granted. All of the arguments that were leveled by Shankar Mishra justifying that the 354 is not made out against him are completely denied by the court, and the court has said that his acts were prima facie amounting to outraging the modesty of a woman, and in fact were disgusting in nature, is what the court has said. So completely a big blow coming in for Shankar Mishra. completely changing the legal dynamics of this case. And now we'll have to see as to how the police investigates and what would be coming in this particular charge
That's
sheet
what we
when the
have to
police
see, that
ends its
where this case
investigation.
goes forward from here, because these are like some damning observations coming in from the court. Let's get to our guests. I'm joined by Dr. Vikram Singh, former DGP Uttar Pradesh, Ashwini Dubey, Supreme Court advocate, Devendra Pednekar, ex-cabin crew in charge of Jet Airways, as well as Captain Amit Singh, aviation expert. Dr. Vikram Singh, I'll come to you first. Now, you've heard the latest update that's come in this entire case. It was a disgusting act which this individual did aboard that flight in November. But now we're also getting details that the court finds that you can't rule out the fact that this man will try to tamper with evidence as well as influence the witnesses. Do you think criminal conspiracy as a charge should also be added beyond outraging the modesty of a woman?
There is merit in what you say, that this act of criminal conspiracy needs to be added. The moment somebody approached the complainant and said that your karma will overtake you, adding insult to injury, and his trying to influence and offering money to the complainant is most despicable. And I have never heard of this kind of depravity ever. Now, in the fitness of things, this needs to be persecuted because Shankar Mishra's defense has no legs to stand on. And indeed, the lawyer friends will tell you why not. The nation is outraged. The flying society is outraged. I don't think, apart from Shankar Mishra's immediate family, there would be very many people who would condone his despicable conduct. And to say that it was an act out of inebriation is just not tenable, because he consumed alcohol on his own free will and then conducted himself in an unbecoming manner. If he did not know how to hold his drinks, he jolly well should not have consumed more alcohol than was good for his system. Therefore, the bail not only should be denied, but fresh charges should be slapped.
Right. Ashwini Dubey, beyond the legal modalities of this case, okay, we'll try to reconnect with Ashwini Dubey. Devendra Pednekar, what came to light in this entire case is the fact that this shocking incident which took place aboard that flight in November was not reported to the proper authorities. In fact, there were meetings between Air India as well as the victim's family. There were 4 such meetings before any police action could be taken. It was, I think, 26 December, a month after this entire incident, that the green light was given by the victim's family to Air India to file a police complaint. Now, put yourself in that cabin. Now, once you see something like this, as per the rule books, what should the cabin crew have done?
See, as per the rule books, the cabin crew should have reported firstly to the captain so that the message is relayed on ground. He was handcuffed and arrested as we landed. And beyond that, every matter should have been reported to the concerned authorities rather than mediating in between the accused and the victim. So basically, that particular thing should not have been done by the cabin crew at all. That's where I feel that the cabin crew must have gone wrong. I don't know the entire incident after the inquiry that has been conducted and what the cabin crew had to say. But this is where it should have ended. They should have reported each and every matter, what happened on board the aircraft, to the necessary authorities.
Right. But in your career, have you seen a kind of a unspoken rule that in first class, if there's a high profile individual and an incident like this takes place, you need to keep the details in wraps? Was there some sort of an unspoken rule when you were serving as a cabin crew?
No, there's nothing like that. See, it all depends on the person who is dealing with the situation. But as far as the rule books are concerned, you have to report. Every guest is similar to a cabin crew. It doesn't matter whether he's traveling in the first class or an economy class. So basically, every matter that happens on board the aircraft has to be reported to the necessary authorities after landing.
Right. Amit Singh, I want to take that point to you. Now, whenever it comes to these kind of incidents aboard a flight, what tends to happen is that the cabin crew is very shocked. We also saw those visuals of those 2 people brawling in economy class, and the air hostesses can't restrain them when it comes to taking action against them. In these situations, do you think it's very important to have the air marshal system in India? Because we've seen so many cases of unruly passengers, people who the cabin crew fail to control. I mean, especially when you're in mid-air, once you don't have access to the police forces on the ground. what should be the modus operandi in the wake of such cases that have come to light when it comes to handling unruly passengers? The rule book is at on one side, but once you're in midair and the cabin crew can't handle passengers like this, what should be done? What changes would you suggest?
I think cabin crew
See,
needs
the
to be more
unruly
assertive.
passengers.
Right. That was so Amit Singh. Devendra, let Amit Singh answer
Unruly
that.
passenger is basically classified under different levels. So, and the cabin crew is trained to identify and classify those passengers, whether they are physically or verbally abusive, or they are trying to enter the cockpit, force the entry into the cockpit. So that is the different classifications. Once they identify a person who is behaving differently, they're supposed to keep an eye. And to deal with that outcome, eventuality of people brawling and all, or one person becoming unruly, they basically identify an able-bodied person or a group of person around him who can help them in that situation. So that this is what goes on in the back end. So they immediately start preparing once they see a potential of an unruly passenger or a fight breakout. So they want to take help of the passengers who are willing to help. So that is why they try to contact or talk to the passengers and then eventually overpower them. You must have seen videos in foreign airlines where passengers have helped the cabin crew to tie up the passengers. So that is one thing. These sky marshals cannot be on board every flight. They are only for security risk. So security is basically if they have a prior information or a lead that there is a potential threat of a hijack, or if the aircraft is operating to a sensitive zone, then only they would be carried. But people who are intoxicated can anytime turn unruly. So they become a safety and a security risk, even though they are not categorized as criminals. Mm-hmm. So that is how the process goes. And the reporting culture is basically on the airline, how the airlines, their culture in the airlines, how they do things. So if the management is not supportive of the cabin crew in these situations, they do not get proper feedback of the outcome. If the cabin crew keeps reporting and they do not get a feedback, then they lose interest.
Right. But
they lose interest.
But the main question is in situations like this, what are the tangible options for the cabin crew members to take action mid-flight, especially when you feel that you can't physically tackle a person who's being unruly?
So if the cabin crew themselves cannot tie the person down, because the procedure is that they give a warning letter and then a final warning letter, and then they basically have restraining systems. Under the rules, under the conventions also, there is a procedure for restraining a person. Restraining can be by different means. So if that is also not possible, then it becomes a security risk, and then the captain has the authority to divert the aircraft to the nearest airport and offload these persons, and they be taken into custody. So to avoid all these things, it is better to prepare and prevent. Like a person who is in a state of intoxication cannot enter the aircraft, cannot be in an aircraft, and cannot leave the aircraft.
Right.
So that is the rule. So all these policies are derived from the rules of how much alcohol to be served. So if the cabin crew see that there is a behavior change or the speech is incoherent, so that is a sign of intoxication. So immediately serving should be stopped. Right. And the person should be told that this is the consequence if you continue like this. So these situations have to be handled very delicately.
Absolutely. But protocols on one side, how much of it is implemented, how much of it has an impact, these are two very different things. And clearly we've seen that over here, that protocols were not followed. I mean, you've given me the rule book, but clearly that wasn't done. And it seems that the options are very limited for the cabin crew when it comes to properly handling unruly passengers like this. Ashwini Dubey, when it comes to this entire case, now that the court has given these observations that, you can't rule out the fact that there could be witness tampering, that there could be signs of intimidation as well. Do you think this is a fit case for the judge to throw the book at Shankar Mishra to make an example of him?
Yes, Ayushman, look, the reforms is the need of hour. Reforms, be it the international flights or be it the domestic flights. At a time, instead of learning from the incidents which have happened just now, the reforms which were brought into effect 50 years back, those needs to be evaluated, changed and brought into effect from time to time. This is one. Point number 2, Section 3 of the Civil Aviation Requirements Rules, which deals with the international flights, which categorically says that when somebody is a disruptive passenger or somebody by their action or intention jeopardize or might jeopardize the safety of the aircraft, persons aboard it or the property therein, then the International Air Transport Association rules come into play. And if it comes into play, first and foremost responsibility lies on the captain of the aircraft and the crew members to take account of this situation and put that person away from all the passengers. Now the point number 2, there are two kind of incidents, one in the domestic flights, one in the international flights. In international flights, the serving of the liquor is allowed, but consuming excessive alcohol. But what would be the excessive alcohol? That has not given in the International Air Transport Association. So there has to be a limit. Point number 3, when it comes to the refusing to comply with the safety instructions by somebody, when it comes to the refusing to comply with the safety instructions, what are those safety instructions must be brought into effect? Instead of the 126 countries which are running their airplanes from one country to the another, they come to the rule book. In 2022, what new norms have come to effect? This is to be looked into. Now the Shankar Mishra is one of the classic example. Before that, we have seen the Kunal Kamraj's incident. Before that, we have seen the 2 member of parliaments, one from the Rashtriya Shiva Sena and other person where the no flying risk and other 3 months and 6 months and 2 years this notification and the rule was brought into effect. The question herein is, why can't we decide that what would be the limit for serving a liquor? Either you serve liquor or don't serve liquor. On the third thing, if somebody does not follow the rule of the law, then that must be taken into consideration. And verbal and physical confrontation with crew members or other passengers must be taught early. What has been done in this case, when Shankar Mishra should have been taken into the account and should have been handed over to the police, saying that, look, there is a law which says that wherever the aircraft is registered, and at that point of time, the FIR will be registered and the crew member will be accountable to loss to the FIR. That should have been done. And instead of this, they tried to wash away everything. They tried to save the flights, aircrafts. I mean, the companies, their image. And that was reported after the lady returned after more than 1 month.
And the maximum action that's been taken is that the crew has been derostered. And Vikram Singh, I'll give you the final word. Now, this is a serious security issue that has emerged in the wake of this incident. Do you think such individuals should immediately be put on the no-fly list? And would you take action against the crew beyond simple derostering?
Absolutely. There is no doubt about it, Ayushmanji, that too much has to be done, constant improvement, constant innovation, and then a relook of the statutes that we have. And indeed, Shankar Mishra and the likes have brought dishonor to the flying community, and he has to be taken to task. And also the cabin crew and the captain have to be accountable for all that happens in the aircraft, and they should be accountable for what they have not done. They have disappointed all of us. They should have lodged an FIR immediately rather than wait for the complainant to lodge a formal complaint. They should have done this suo moto. Well, better late than never. There are important lessons to be drawn from this incident, and those lessons should form a part of the improvement and innovation in the rule book in times to come.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Vikram Singh, Ashwini Dubey, Devendra Pednekar, and Captain Amit Singh for joining us on this debate. So, Shankar Mishra is not out of the woods yet, but the question remains, and as our legal expert pointed out, when it comes to seeking any kind of like action against the carriers, against Air India, we can't, the Aam Aadmi doesn't have much option because the DGCA is the prime authority. At the same time, it's a fit case to throw the book at Shankar Mishra to ensure that these cases don't take place again. And the demand is that such individuals should be immediately put on a no-fly list, and they should be banned from flying for a certain amount of time to ensure they pay the price for behaving in such a horrific manner. We'll continue to track all the developments when it comes to this story, the legal dynamics of the story. But that's all we have to pack in on the show. Thank you for watching.